This series is back again. We're best friends. Of course we have 5+ inside jokes.
We're best friends. Of course I can literally spank her. And it's literally fine.
We're best friends. Of course I tell her when she looks ugly. Every single second of the day.
We're best friends. Of course when one of us falls over, we just crack up laughing instead of helping each other up.
We're best friends. Of course I know her reaction when I say this. Ow, my pinky.
Oh no! We're best friends. Of course if my parents say if they jumped off a cliff, if they jumped off a cliff, would you? Hell yeah!
We're best friends. Of course we don't go to the same school.
We're best friends. Of course I just shove her into the hedge for no reason at all.
We're best friends. Of course we have this one best friend thing to do.
We're best friends. Of course if I say, let's go have the railings, she knows what I mean.
We're best friends. We don't need to know every single fact about each other. What's your favourite food?
I don't know.
Exactly.
We're best friends. Of course we have our own secret language.
That I'll give you 4.
We're best friends. Of course I'm her only friend because she has no more because she's lonely.
What? We're best friends. Of course we have a code. What's this? I'm gonna prank her. Code black. Code black.
Where? We're best friends. Of course it's me when I see a yellow car.
We're best friends. Of course we rage quit on each other. We have permission. Do I have permission?
It's not there.
We're best friends. Of course we literally are on FaceTime, but we're not on FaceTime. Like, we're on FaceTime, but we're scrolling on Pinterest. Like, we're together, but we're texting each other. That kind of vibe.
We're best friends. Of course I get scared every single time she comes around because it's a literal jump scare.
We're best friends. Of course. But give me 4. We're best friends. Of course. We're best friends. Of course, she never comes round to mine, but I always go to hers.
We're best friends. Of course we just say to our parents, we're going to go out and walk the dog. Bye!
We're best friends. Of course some of my friends hate her.
Screw you. We're best friends. Of course whoever hates her hates me and whoever hates me hates her.
We're best friends. Of course I feel like I'm in her school, and of course she feels like she's in my school because we tell each other all the gossip.
We're best friends. Of course I always try and get in her car when she leaves.
We're best friends. Of course we both have 3 bestie promise mornings left. You don't know what that means, but it's serious.
We're best friends. Of course she literally just lives with me.
We're best friends. Of course we already made our plans for the future.